there, fantasy owners. LTC Fantasy here. Not sure if you're chiming in watching via YouTube or listening via podcast, but really do appreciate the watch or listen no matter how you're streaming the episode. Before we get started, do want to mention we do have a partnership with 247clash.com. Link is in the description. It's basically a pools type player versus player fantasy type game. That's pretty much made winnable for anyone there. It's fun and easy to play. If you go to www.247clash.com, you'll see a link at the top of the homepage, how to play video. It's about 50 seconds long, so really short, but explains it pretty well. If you do decide to sign up and make a deposit, use referral code LTC, as that'll help support this podcast, and hopefully you'll win some pools and make some cash there. Do note it is for Canadian residents only at this time. Might change in the future, but for right now it's Canadian residents only. So today's our Week 18 strategy episode. So we're going to look at this week's schedule, break it down, suggest players to help you out this week, hopefully help strengthen your fantasy roster and secure those wins for you. Some things to note this week. It's 2 games only for Philly and Vegas. They got a really light schedule this week. Number of teams have 4 games this week, them being Chicago, Colorado, Columbus, Detroit, Florida, Minnesota, Nashville, New Jersey, Ottawa, and St. Louis. So quite a few with 4-game weeks there. Light nights, typical week here, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Monday there's 5 games, Wednesday 6 games, Friday 5 games, Sunday 6 games. So we will focus on the Monday and Wednesday light nights, as we will cover Friday and Sunday a lot more in depth. We do mention a little bit about Friday, Sunday this episode, but we'll cover it way more in depth in our weekend ads episode later this week. We will also cover all teams that have 4 games this week. That way, if you want to maximize on games played, there's another avenue for you to, depending what strategy you play there. So we will cover Detroit and Florida first, as they have 3 games in the first 4 nights this week. So that can get you out to that early lead. You could pick up one of those players, get those 3 games in early. Might miss the 4th game. Drop them after Thursday. Pick up a player that gets 2 games over the weekend, depending how you use your player ads. You could potentially get 5 games out of 1 player slot there. Then we will cover the 5 teams that play at least 3 of the 4 light nights this week. Then we'll cover the remaining Monday teams. Then we'll cover the remaining teams that play on Wednesday. Then we'll cover the remaining 4-game teams that don't play on either Monday or Wednesday this week. So basically we'll get right into it. Some D-men that have 3 games in the first 4 nights. Start off in Detroit. Look at Jake Wallman, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, playing that top pairing there. He has 4 points the last 12 games with 30 shots on goal and 22 blocks. So as you can tell, he gets a really nice amount of shots on goal and blocks. His offense is a bit streaky, but with a condensed schedule, and if in a deep league, he could be an alright streamer for you early on this week. Over in Florida, look at Radko Gudas, owned in 45% of Yahoo leagues. Plays the 3rd pairing in Florida. He has 3 points his last 9 games. And in those 9 games, 43 frickin' hits. A ton of hits and 20 blocks, so a lot of blocks. There's a little bit of offense there. Not a lot, but there is a little bit. The real value, as you can tell with him, is in the blocks and hits department. So he could help you in a Cats league. Now some forwards that play 3 games in the first 4 nights this week. Start off in Detroit again. Look at Lucas Raymond, listed as a right winger, owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line, 2nd power play unit there. He has 7 points his last 11 games with 20 shots on goal and 6 blocks there. He has cooled a bit. He was really slow, then he got pretty hot there. Now he's cooled down a little bit, and it is a down year, but he does have talent. There's no denying that. And with a condensed schedule to start, could get some value out of him. Another one in Detroit is Michael Rasmussen, listed as center left winger, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on the 2nd line there in Detroit, and he has 7 points his last 9 games. And in those 9 games, he's a +5, has 21 hits and 8 blocks there. 6 of the 7 points, though, in those games were in 3 2-point games there. So it's kind of a hit and miss kind of thing. You're either going to love him because he gets you a couple points, or you're going to hate him because he gets you a goose egg, but with 3 games in the first 4 nights, might be worth rolling the dice on him anyways. Over in Florida, look at Anton Lundell, listed as a center, owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, second power play unit there. And he has 8 points his last 10 games, 2 of those points being on the power play and 23 shots on goal. He is on the top line and fitting in with Barkov there, so with 3 games in the first 4 nights, it's probably going to be an okay streaming option for you. Another one in Florida is Sam Bennett, listed as a center, owned in 64% of Yahoo leagues, plays second line, second power play unit there. He has 6 points his last 7 games, and in those 7 games, he's a +4, couple points on the power play, has 20 shots on goal and 11 hits. He is streaky, but he does get points in bunches. That's one thing that I've noticed kind of following him this season. So he's not bad in other cats. So in a cats league, he should be an alright streaming option for you. Before we do get to the next section, do want to ask, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so as we're trying to grow it. Hopefully you're getting some value out of these episodes. Hopefully it's helping strengthen your fantasy roster and securing those wins for you. And yeah, that's my little plug. We'll get into some D-men that play 3 or more light nights this week. Do remember, out of these players, Minnesota has all 4 light nights this week. So focus on Minnesota if you're kind of used to picking up on the light nights. Ottawa plays Monday, Friday, Sunday, and the rest of these players play Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So we'll start off in Minnesota. Look at Kalen Addison, owned in 10% of Yahoo leagues. Plays third pairing, top power play unit there. Excuse me. He has 3 points his last 7 games. One of those points being on the power play. Also has 7 blocks in those 7 games. He is streaky, but he does have offensive upside there. So in a deep scoring league, he could be worth the risk, especially with getting all 4 light nights this week. Over in Ottawa, look at Jake Sanderson, owned in 30% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second pairing, second power play unit. He has 4 points his last 4 games. In those 4 games, +3. 3 of those 4 points are on the power play. So getting a little bit of PP production of late. And 7 blocks in there. So he's on a nice little roll right now. And with 3 light nights this week, could be a decent streaming option for you. Over in Anaheim, look at John Klingberg, owned in 38% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second pairing, second power play unit there. He has 6 points his last 8 games with 12 shots on goal, 8 hits, and 14 blocks. It's been a down year for him, there's no denying that, but he has been better of late. He's a bit of a gamble, but might be worth it with getting some light nights, so it might pay off for you. Next one over in Anaheim's Cam Fowler, owned in 19% of Yahoo leagues. He plays top pairing, top power play unit there. And he's pointless the last 3 games, but then he put up 7 points the previous 4 games there. So he is streaky, but with 3 light nights this week, you should be able to get some value out of Fowler there. Over in Chicago, look at Seth Jones, owned in 63% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top pairing, top power play unit there. He has 10 points his last 9 games. Couple of those being on the power play. 24 shots on goal, 17 hits, 15 blocks. He's basically good all around except in the plus-minus department there. So stream him if he's available in your league and you should be happy with it. We'll go to some forwards that have at least 3 light nights this week. Remember, out of these players, Minnesota, they get all 4 light nights. Ottawa plays on Monday, Friday, and Sunday, and the rest of the players outside of Minnesota and Ottawa play on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Start off in Minnesota again. Possibly look at Ryan Hartman, listed as center right winger, owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line, second power play unit. Only has 2 points the last 7 games, but he has 20 shots on goal in those 7 games, 7 hits and 7 blocks there. His offense is down, but he did recently get moved up to the top line. So it is a gamble, but it's more of a speculative play getting Kaprizov and Zuccarello as your line mates there. Over in Ottawa, look at Matthew Joseph, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line in Ottawa right now, and he has 3 points his last 2 games, is a +2 in those 2 games with a couple of hits, couple of blocks. He's been promoted to the top line, so he's been good the last couple of games, not a lot of runway, but in a real deep league, it could be a gamble that could pay off for you. Over in Anaheim, look at Adam Henrique, listed as center left winger, owned in 20% of Yahoo leagues, plays top line, top power play unit there. He has 10 points the last 10 games. Couple of those points being on the power play with 26 shots on goal, gets a fair amount of shots and 6 blocks in there. He's been good for a while now, and with 3 light nights, should be a fairly nice streaming option, assuming he keeps it going, but he has been for a little bit here. Next one in Anaheim's Frank Vetrano, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 10% of Yahoo leagues, plays second line, second power play unit there. He has 7 points the last 5 games, so pretty hot of late. +6 in those 5 games, 1 power play point, so a little bit there. 25 shots on goal and 5 blocks there. He's been really hot of late. He has been streaky this year, so there definitely is some risk involved. But with how he's been performing the last 5 games here, he might be worth taking a chance on. Over in Chicago, look at Max Domi, listed as center, left winger, and right winger, owned in 26% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, top power play unit there. He has 5 points the last 6 games with 12 shots on goal in those 6 games. He's on a roll of late and should be an okay streaming option in your scoring leagues. Another one in Chicago is Tyler Johnson, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, second power play unit there. He's put up 5 points his last 5 games, and in those 5 games, +5, 11 shots on goal and 3 blocks there. He's been good of late and is a bit of a rebound season for him. Overall, it's been okay when he's been in the lineup. He's had some injury concerns, but still streaky. But in a deep league, he definitely is an option that could work out for you. Another one in Chicago, maybe look at, is Jason Dickinson, listed as center left winger, owned in only 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line right now, and he has 7 points his last 6 games with 11 hits and 8 blocks. He's been good on the top line since being moved up there. He's be a nice streamer for your deeper leagues. That's where you're going to want to stream him. In your standard leagues, there'd probably be more reliable options out there. Over in Edmonton, look at Ryan McLeod, listed as center left winger, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing fourth line, second power play unit there, and he has 5 points his last 7 games. And in those 7 games, he's been +3, thrown 9 hits and 4 blocks. He's been decent of late. His categories overall are okay, so in a real deep Cats league, could be a okay streaming option for you. So now we'll move along to some remaining Monday D-men that we haven't covered. So far we've covered Detroit, Ottawa, Minnesota, Florida. They play on Monday also, but we've already covered them. Out of this section though, Nashville does have a 4-game week. The rest of the players only have 3-game weeks. So we'll start off in Buffalo. Look at Owen Power, owned in 50% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second pairing, second power play unit there. He has 4 points the last 6 games, and in those 6 games, he's +4, also has 6 blocks. He's been streaky, but a lot better of late, and on a light night, he should be an okay option for you if he's available. Over in LA, possibly look at Sean Dursey, owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second pairing, second power play unit there. He's on a bit of a slow spell, but do remember he's basically a half-point game per defenseman and does have some offensive upside, so he could be worth a risk on a light night. Over in Chicago, look at Noah Hannafin, owned in 57% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top pairing, second power play unit there, and he has 6 points in the last 6 games and points in 3 straight right now. So he is streaky, but heating up of late there, so he should be a solid option on a light night for you. Next one is Mackenzie Weegar over in Calgary, owned in 64% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing. He has 3 points the last 5 games, and in those 5 games, 10 shots on goal, 9 hits, and 7 blocks. Obviously down from last year, but he's been better of late and should be a decent option on a light night, especially on a Cats League if he is available for you. Over in Vancouver, maybe look at Luke Shen, owned in 55% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing there. He has 4 points the last 5 games. In those 5 games, he's +3, 23 hits. He definitely likes to throw the body, 5 blocks in there. He is listed as day-to-day with an upper body injury, so do check his status before you do decide to stream him. But if available, he'd be a nice streamer for a Cats League. So now some remaining Monday forwards. Do remember, we've already covered Detroit, Ottawa, Minnesota, and Florida. And out of these players, Nashville does have 4 games this week, and the rest of the players have a 3-game week. So we'll start off in Nashville. Possibly look at Cody Glass, listed as center right winger, owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line, second power play unit. And he has 7 points his last 9 games. And in those 9 games, he's +5, has 18 shots on goal and 12 hits there. He's been good on that top line and should be an all-right option, especially on a light night. Another one in Nashville to look at is Mikael Granlund, listed as center right winger, owned in 8% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second line, top power play unit there. And he has 3 points the last 4 games. And in those 4 games, he's also thrown 10 hits, so throwing the body a little bit more of late. He is really streaky though, so he definitely is risky. But in real deep leagues, could be an option for you. Over in Arizona, look at Barrett Hayton, listed as a center, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line there. He has 4 points the last 4 games. 3 of those 4 points being on the power play there. 15 shots on goal and 3 blocks. He's been streaky, but obviously better of late. Could be an alright streaming option, especially in your deeper leagues. Another one in Arizona is Nick Schmaltz, listed as center right winger, owned in 18% of Yahoo leagues. Playing top line, top power play unit there. And he has 7 points his last 5 games. Seeing he already has a couple of points tonight already, recording this on Friday, so even a little bit better. +4 in those 5 games, 17 shots on goal, 5 blocks. It's been really hot of late, and it should be a really good streaming option on a light night. Over in Buffalo, look at Victor Olofsson, listed as a right winger, owned in 21% of Yahoo leagues. Plays third line, second power play unit there. And he has 8 goals and 1 assist, so 9 points in the last 11 games. Couple of those points being on the power play, 33 shots on goal in those 11 games. So he's been filling the net recently here, so he will definitely help you in your scoring leagues and even your Cats leagues if he's available there for you, and if he can keep it going. Over in LA, look at Philippe Dagnon, listed as a center, owned in 20% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit. He has 2 points the last 3 games, and in those 3 games, 10 shots on goal, 4 blocks. He can be a little bit streaky of late, but overall his categories are pretty good, so if you're in a Cats League, he'd be a pretty good streaming option for you. Over in LA again, look at Blake Lizotte, possibly listed as a center, available everywhere, 0% owned, plays on the third line, but he has points in 4 of the last 5 games, and in those 5 games he has 5 hits and 3 blocks. He is really streaky, but he is on a small roll right now. That's why I mentioned him. So if you're in a real deep league, he might be an option. Over in Calgary, possibly look at Dylan Dubé, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues. Playing top line, top power play unit there. And he has 4 points the last 6 games, so it's 14 shots on goal and 9 hits. He is streaky, but he does get top line minutes and on the top power play unit right now. So on a light night, he could be worth the risk there. Another one in Calgary is Michael Backlund, listed as a center, owned in 17% of Yahoo leagues. Playing third line, he's been bumped up to the top power play unit. And he has 10 points his last 9 games with 23 shots on goal and 10 hits. He's been good for a bit here and should be a solid option on a light night for you. Another one in Calgary is Andrew Mangiapane, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 34% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit, and he has 7 points his last 6 games. And in those 6 games, +8, which is really nice, 17 shots on goal. He's been decent the last few weeks, down a bit from last year, but really good these last few weeks here. And on a light night, the way he's going should be a fairly solid option. Over in Vancouver, possibly look at Andrei Kuzmenko, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 53% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit there. He has 9 points the last 12 games with 21 shots on goal. He definitely gets his points, so it'd be a pretty nice option for you in your scoring leagues for sure. Another one in Vancouver maybe to look at is Connor Garland, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 9% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit there, and he has 6 points the last 7 games with 13 shots on goal. It's been decent of late, and with Horvat out of the picture now, he should get some more opportunity there. So on a light night in a deeper league, should be an alright option. So now we'll move along to some remaining Wednesday D-men. We have already covered Buffalo, Arizona, Chicago, Minnesota, Edmonton, Detroit, Vancouver, and Anaheim. So covered quite a few of them already. But out of this section, the players from Colorado have a 4-game week and the rest have 3-game weeks. Start off in Colorado, possibly look at Samuel Girard, owned in 13% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit, and he has 5 points the last 5 games. And in those 5 games, he's +4 with 14 shots on goal and 14 blocks. He's on a roll, and with Makar out with a head injury, who knows? Head injuries, it's hard to tell if they'll be back next game or out a few weeks there. But he might even get more opportunity if Makar misses an extended period. So a bit of a speculative play, but could turn out to be an all right for you. Over in Toronto, possibly look at Mark Giordano, owned in 23% of Yahoo leagues, playing the second pairing for the Leafs there. He has 6 points the last 8 games, and in those 8 games, he's +5, has 22 shots on goal and 14 blocks. He's been good of late and should be an okay option, especially given it's a light night. Another one in Toronto maybe look at is Justin Hall, owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing there. He has 4 points his last 5 games, and in those 5 games has 12 hits and 6 blocks. Definitely gets his hits and blocks. That's not really an issue with him. His offense is streaky, but in certain formats, and depending how deep it is, it might work out for you. For the Rangers, look at Keandre Miller, owned in 51% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit, and he has 8 points his last 10 games, so pretty nice production. Would go along with 28 hits and 10 blocks in those 10 games. So overall, he's pretty solid in all categories there, so he'd be a good streamer if he is available in your leagues there. Now we'll move along to some remaining Wednesday forwards. Do remember, we've already covered Buffalo, Arizona, Chicago, Minnesota, Edmonton, Detroit, Vancouver, and Anaheim. So out of these players, the Colorado players do have a 4-game week, and the rest of the players have a 3-game week there. So start off in Colorado, possibly look at Evan Rodriguez, listed as center, left winger, and right winger, owned in 26% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit, and he has 7 points his last 11 games, and in those 11 games, he's +5, has 35 shots on goal. Do remember, he did leave in the midst of last game there, so do check his status. If he is available, he should be an okay streamer in your deeper leagues, though. For the Rangers, maybe look at Philip Chittle, listed as center right winger, owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit, and he has 7 goals and 1 assist for 8 points there in the midst of a 5-game point streak. I'm recording this on Friday. It's now a 6-game point streak going on there, and he's basically as hot as it gets right now, so stream him if he is available in your league still. Another one to look at for the Rangers is Alexis Lafreniere, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 28% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing third line, second power play unit there, and he's put up 6 points his last 6 games, +7 there, 15 shots on goal and 16 hits in those 6 games. So he's been really good of late and chipping in most categories there. So you should get value if you do decide to stream him. Another one for the Rangers is Capo Caco, listed as a right winger, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit there, covering the whole third line. They're playing well right now. He has 7 points his last 7 games. Do believe he got a point tonight too. Also +5 in those 7 games. So he's producing of late and should be a solid option in your scoring leagues there. So now some remaining 4-game demon that don't play either Monday or Wednesday. Start off in Columbus. Possibly look at Adam Boquist, listed as owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top pairing, top power play unit. He has 5 points the last 5 games. And of those 5 points, 2 have been on the power play. He is listed as day-to-day. This was before the All-Star break. He's had quite the extended resting period, I believe 10 or 11 days here. So do check his status. If he is available, should be a good option for your scoring leagues. Over in New Jersey, possibly look at Damon Severson, owned in 18% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second pairing, second power play unit there. He's put up 6 points the last 10 games. And in those 10 games, he has 18 shots on goal and 28 blocks. He's okay, but not great the last little while here. So he should be an okay option in your deeper leagues for you. Over in St. Louis, possibly look at Torrey Krug, owned in 60% of Yahoo leagues. Yeah, he's down that low. And second pairing, top power play unit. He's put up 4 points the last 4 games with 13 shots on goal and 10 blocks there. He's been good since coming back from injury, so you should stream him if he is available in your leagues. Finish off with some remaining 4-game forwards this week. Obviously don't play Monday or Wednesday. Over in Columbus, look at Boone Jenner, listed as a center, owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line, top power play unit there. He's put up 4 points the last 6 games, and in those 6 games, he's +4, 22 shots on goal, 17 hits, and 9 blocks. He's well-rounded and should be a very good option for you in your Cats leagues. Another one in Columbus is Kent Johnson, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing second line, second power play unit there, and he has 6 points the last 6 games. Go along with 3 blocks in those 6 games. His offense is streaky. He's a young player, rookie season, so you do kind of get streakiness, but he has been good of late. And with having 4 games this week, could be a good option in your deeper leagues. Another one in Columbus is Kirill Marchenko, listed as a right winger, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line up on the top power play unit. He's potted 4 goals in the last 5 games, 3 of those being on the power play. Also in those 5 games, he has 12 shots on goal and 3 blocks. He is a sniper, so in your scoring leagues or leagues where goals are weighted heavier, that's where you're going to want to stream him, hopefully get some value. Over in New Jersey, look at Andre Palat, listed as a left winger, owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit there. He has 9 points the last 9 games, +6 in those 9 games, couple points on the power play, also thrown 18 hits in those 9 games and 13 blocks. He's been pretty good the last little while. He was injured for the longest time, so finally earning a little bit of that off-season signing there. So he should be a good option with having 4 games this week. Another one in New Jersey is Fabian Zetterlund, listed as a right winger, available everywhere, 0% owned. Playing on the second line right now in New Jersey, and he's put up 3 points the last 4 games with 4 hits there. Okay production of late, but not a lot of runway. In a real deep league, he might be worth the risk. And the last one is over in St. Louis. Look at Ivan Barbashev, listed as center left winger, owned in 13% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit there, and he has 4 points the last 5 games. And in those 5 games, he has 8 hits and 3 blocks there. He is streaky, but decent of late. With Tarasenko gone, opportunity could open up even more for him there. So if you That's it for today's episode. If you're watching via YouTube, do remember to hit like, hit subscribe, remember that notification bell. If you're listening via podcast, remember to hit that heart, hit follow, hit subscribe, depending what platform you're listening to it on. Don't forget to check out www.247clash.com. If you do decide to sign up, remember to use referral code LTC. It helps support this podcast. And good luck this week there, fantasy owners. Hope you secure those victories, and we'll talk to you soon.